how's it going, everybody? It's Shaun from the Natural Gamers. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning right now, and everybody's sleeping. And so we have a change of venue here. This is the laundry room. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Anyways, a few hours ago I got done playing The Darkness 2, and just kind of share my thoughts about it. And I also recorded the whole thing, so I'm gonna have a full game let's play of it. If you want to check that out, that'll be being released, you know, over the next few days. It's kind of long. It's like 5.5 hours altogether, so excuse me, it'll take me a little bit to get it all up. But so I guess my general impression of the game was it was okay. Like I enjoyed playing it. Well, I'll talk about what I liked about it first. The new art style, kind of the comic booky, cel-shaded animation style that they decided to go for with the game, looks really good. Looks really great. Just like kind of like just a comic book come to life, and it was cool. Like because it's like half realistic, like half cartoony. It was cool. I mean, I think there's some other games that kind of ape that style a little bit, but this is the one I saw it taken to an extreme, and it worked really well for the game. It really worked really well. And the mechanics of the game, the actual just like playing the game, the controls and whatnot, were really good. Were really cool. Really fun, actually. Like, I had so much fun controlling the darkness and wielding guns at the same time. It's a really fluid system. You would think that it would be clunky and difficult, but basically you have like your left button and your right button control the arms of the darkness. You know, you have your left arm like grabs things and throws things, your right arm like slashes at enemies and stuff like that, and you knock lights out and stuff like that. And it was fun. Like, it was cool. It was like kind of the best part of the game. It did what not a lot of games do. Like it was actually like really fun to play. The level design and everything like that, that's where you start getting into a little bit of trouble. It's extremely linear, and I don't really have a problem with that because I understand this is like a very tightly paced like narrative experience. It's not kind of like Skyrim or any of those type. It has nothing in common with it. It kind of feels like a game of like 5 years ago, like with the first Darkness, which was also a very linear experience, or even something like Uncharted. Those games are fairly linear, but there's a little bit more room for exploration, and you can find kind of stuff. There really isn't too much of that in the Darkness. The only collectibles that I am aware of are these things called relics, and you don't really have to go very far off the beaten path because you can't. You can't go very far off the beaten path to get relics. Or to do anything really. That's kind of a. I mean, I don't want to sound too negative about it because it really wasn't that big of a deal, because it's, like I said, it's a tightly paced narrative experience. It's there to tell you a story, and the story is actually pretty good. Not too bad. It's a little light. It's a little superficial, and what I mean by that is like it's just like surface elements, like surface plot elements. So they're like, this person wants this and they want to do this, but they don't really ever tell you really why. That's my biggest complaint in the story, is that as far as like outside of Jackie Estacado, who is the protagonist, that's who you are, that's who you play as, there isn't really much else. Like, you don't learn enough about like some of the other characters, especially the villain. The villain Victor, who's like this crazy gimp hunchback with like big scars on his face and stuff like that. Like, they kind of make allusions to that he's somehow connected to like Jackie's past and with Jackie's father and stuff like that, who had the darkness before him, and kind of like Jackie kind of inherited it basically. And there's this organization or this group called the Brotherhood that are trying to like take control of the darkness, and they never really make it clear why. I guess maybe like world domination. I mean, that's usually the kind of the typical thing. It does kind of ramp up a little bit in the last third. There's a nice little end of Act 3 twist, which is, it's a little part of the game, but it's cool that, because I was really hoping they would go in that direction when they did, and I'm trying not to give anything away. But it was it was very satisfying. Like the story, basically, like it's an interesting story, and you can infer a lot, so you can kind of make assumptions about a lot of things, and not necessarily be told things, but not really. I mean, only to a certain extent. Only to a certain point can you really do that, because it is what it is. It's just people say things and then they do them, and there isn't enough like background information to really get a good like grip on the characters. I expected a lot more like double crosses and stuff. Actually, well, I expected at least some, and you don't really get any at all. Jackie's friends are Jackie's friends, and Jackie's enemies are Jackie's enemies. There's kind of an interesting thing where he's kind of like having hallucinations about his dead ex-girlfriend Jenny, which if you played the first game, she dies in that game. But it's kind of like haunted Jackie's life. And other than that, I don't know. Like my final thoughts on the game is I had a lot of fun playing it, but I knew while I was playing it that it wasn't a great game. Like not like a blow your mind game, but it's a very solid game. Which, you know, it's kind of you don't get that a lot nowadays, because nowadays you get like a lot of games that are like kind of throwing all these new crazy ideas out and you kind of get like a half-baked experience out of it, like where you're like, well, like L.A. Noire, I think was like, which is a game I really liked, but that was something that's just like the new mechanics were really cool, but they weren't honed in, like they weren't perfected yet, like, so it's gonna be cool to see what they do in the future. The Darkness kind of doesn't do anything new. It just kind of streamlines and like does really well kind of an older style of game. Like it is a great sequel to The Darkness. If you've played The Darkness, it's a great sequel to that because it builds upon the things and the mechanics and the playstyle of that game and just improves upon them, which is good. So if you're a fan of The Darkness 1, I would definitely say check out The Darkness 2. And if you've never played Darkness 1, there is actually kind of like a recap thing in the beginning of the game where it kind of fills you in, brings you up to speed to like where you are in the story anyways. Because it definitely is a direct sequel to The Darkness. And you need to know some of the plot points from The Darkness to understand what the hell is going on at all, or who Jackie is, or who all of his cronies are, and stuff like that. But it's cool, like the first third of the game is great. The middle third, it's a little rote, I guess you could say. You know, it's because I played it all in one sitting. It took me it's a really short game too, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's a really short game. I think I beat it in about 5.5 hours. And it's something I would recommend if you play it to break it up into like 2 or 3 like playtimes. Like don't just sit down and play it all through once, because the linearity of it, like how just corridor driven the levels are, it does wear on you a little bit, because it's like, you know, it's just like most first person shooters. You get to an area, you fight a wave of enemies, you go to the next area, you fight another wave of enemies, you go to the next area, you fight another wave of enemies, maybe there's a sneaking kind of mission, or a possible sneaking mission thrown in there, and then then you fight a boss, basically. And the boss fights in this game are actually really cool. That was something I actually enjoyed. They're kind of like epic, but appropriately epic, not like over the top crazy epic, but just tight and fun, and a decent challenge. Actually, the game is fairly challenging. Like I played it on just the regular, like normal setting, and it's definitely it gives you a good challenge. You got to think about what you do and how you use your powers in tandem with your like human powers, like your guns and stuff like that, and your upgrades and stuff like. And you can upgrade. You get like experience points from killing enemies, and the more kind of style points, almost basically like different kind of attacks. If you exploit those, you get like more points. And it's cool. I would recommend it to people that like old school kind of shooter games, you know, like because that don't mind kind of corridor stuff, and that enjoy kind of comic booky, like crazy over the top like storylines, that is really dark gothic kind of like setting and storyline, kind of a plot. Voice acting great across the board, actually. That's definitely one of the high points of the game. Like, is just the voice acting, the presentation, and it really does kind of immerse you into it. Like I was really into it. Like I didn't even talk very much in my my Let's Play because I was just kind of into it. I was just playing the game and enjoying it. Yeah, so But like if those aren't really your type of games, or you're kind of on the fence about it, I'd wait maybe until it goes down in price. Like if you could pick it up for $25 or $30, I would say it is a solid purchase. Really solid purchase. And you get your money's worth. But because of the shortness of the length and stuff like that, I don't know if you're going to want to spend the $50 or $60, depending on what platform you get it on, to play it. But hey, you can check out my Let's Play. It's a full game Let's Play. You know, you could check out, just check out the parts in the middle and kind of random and stuff, see what it's like, because I played the game. And I kind of played it, like the average person would play it, so you get to see it from that perspective. Yeah, so anyways, I'm Shaun, and I'm a natural gamer, and I will talk to you guys next time I have something to talk about with no beard. I probably won't have a beard at that point. Alright.